Is good evening, everyone. Today we have gathered for a Dhamma reading session. Uh, as a standard practice, we will pay homage to the Buddha, and we can all read along the Namo Tassa for 3 times. Nanda Madam, you can also join in reciting. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Today we are joined for having a Dhamma reading session, and we will be reading from the book Life is Meditation, Meditation is Life by Bhante Vimalaramsi, our teacher, who has introduced tranquil wisdom inside meditation. We will be directly reading this reading we have started uh, last 2 weeks. We are reading this reading of Noble Eightfold Path. In that, today we will continue our reading from Right Livelihood. Nanda Madam, do you want to read?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Number 5, Sama Ajiva, Harmonious Lifestyle or Right Livelihood. This has always been a curious part of the Eightfold Path. The standard way of describing this has been not to kill living beings on purpose, not to sell poisons or weapons, and not to deal in slavery and selling human beings. But how does this relate directly to one's meditation practice? If it is important enough to be put in the Eightfold Path, then there must be more to it that leads to the cessation of suffering, the third noble truth. Don't you agree? These things to give us this idea of right livelihood, which is harmonious lifestyle, in a general way, but just how does harmonious lifestyle, which is right livelihood, relate to our true understanding and practice of meditation? An interesting question, isn't it? It becomes even more interesting when we consider that the Buddha gave these instructions with the very first discourse that he gave to the 5 ascetics as he was showing them about the direct experience of meditation practice. These ascetics surely did not kill any living beings. They didn't sell poisons or weapons or sell slaves. Or so what was the Buddha actually talking about when he mentioned harmonious lifestyle, right livelihood? When we take a look at mental development through the eyes of harmonious lifestyle, right livelihood, it may make a little more sense. For instance, harmonious lifestyle, right livelihood means how we practice our observation, harmonious observation, right mindfulness, and meditation of the present moment during all of the time that we are not doing our sitting meditation. In other words, in our daily activities. We are practicing being in harmony with a mind that is alert, calm, joyful, and uplifted, harmonious movement and harmonious communication or right action and right speech with ourselves. That is why the author encourages students to smile, whether doing their sitting meditation or their daily activities. The trick is seeing how, when things are not going the way I want them to, and mind becomes heavy with emotional issues, unharmonious movement, or wrong action. How the observation, I like it, I don't like it, and thinking unwholesome thoughts, craving and clinging, unharmonious communication, or wrong speech causes us even more suffering. In other words, having a harmonious lifestyle, right livelihood, means that we learn to carry the meditation, harmonious observation, harmonious communication, harmonious imaging, harmonious perspective, harmonious practice, harmonious collectedness, and harmonious movement. In other words, the entire eightfold path with us all of the time in our daily activities. In this way, we then truly begin to understand that,
Madam, I would like to pause here so that
yes,
you can explain these 2 pages in your words. We have started from here, Samma Ajiva. You
yeah,
can explain.
we are talking here about harmonious lifestyle. Another word for it is right livelihood. So um, we get to question why right livelihood is included in part of the eightfold path. The standard way of describing this is not to kill living beings on purpose. Um, that is one of our first precepts, and not to sell poisons or weapons, and not to deal in slavery and selling human beings. So we have to think, how does this way of thinking relates directly to our meditation practice? So we got to think, why did our Blessed One included this um, in his eightfold path, uh, which leads to the cessation of suffering, which is the third noble truth. Um, so these things do give us the idea of right livelihood in a general way, but just how does harmonious lifestyle relate to our understanding and practice of meditation? Interesting question. Um, when we consider that Buddha gave these instructions to the 5 ascetics, um, showing them the direct experience of meditation practice, these ascetics, these 5 ascetics, they don't kill beings. They don't sell poisons. They don't sell weapons. They don't sell slaves. So, what we have to think, what does the Buddha actually talking about when he mentioned this harmonious lifestyle, which is right livelihood? So, when we look at mental development through the eyes of harmonious lifestyle, it make a little more sense. For instance, harmonious lifestyle um, means how we practice our observation, which is harmonious observation, which is right mindfulness um, in meditation, um, in the present moment, during all of the time that we are not doing our sitting meditation. In other words, in our daily activities. Um, so when we practice being in harmony with the mind that is alert, calm, joyful, and uplifting, um, which is harmonious movement and harmonious communication, which is right action and right speech, ourselves. Um, this is why um, our Vimalaramsi encourage us to smile, um, whether while we are sitting in meditation or during daily activities. This is to really to uplift our mind. Um, the trick here is um, when things are not going the way I want them, and mind becomes heavy with emotional issues, um, that is unharmonious movements and wrong action, um, the observation of how mind's attention becomes weak and subtle, um, like I like it, I don't like it, and thinking unwholesome thoughts, that is craving and clinging, um, which causes a suffering. So, in other words, having a harmonious lifestyle, um, that is right livelihood, um, that means harmonious observation, harmonious communication, harmonious imaging, harmonious perspective, harmonious practice, harmonious collectedness, and harmonious movement, um, which is the entire eightfold path that we um, all come to practice, and during our meditation as well as during our daily activities.
Yes, madam. Now I request Chaya madam, do you want to read? Chaya madam, do you want to read?
Hello.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I,
No
I,
worries.
I, yeah, I haven't carried my specs, so I may not be able to read. But after
Okay.
listening, I will surely share on what I have understood out of.
Fine.
Yeah, thank
Fine.
you so much.
I will start reading. In this way, we then truly begin to understand that the impersonal process of dependent origination, harmonious perspective, is in everything that arises. Having a harmonious lifestyle, right livelihood, is having an uplifted, happy mind that is smiling, joyful, alert, and free from unwholesome thoughts or emotions. Emotions that are heavy and tend to pull mind away from the present moment are the cause of suffering. Why? Because the meditators tends to take these thoughts and feelings personally and with the wrong perspective of I am that altitude. This personal perspective, wrong lifestyle in our daily lives is the reason that so many people suffer so much. Also, too many times when someone does a meditation retreat, the meditator gets very serious and heavy in mind without really recognizing it. The heavy, distracted, unharmonious lifestyle, wrong livelihood, is the mind that is being caught by the personal belief, unharmonious perspective, atta is belief. The meditators becomes distracted by opinions, concepts, thoughts, daydreaming, and the general dissatisfaction of life when the unharmonious lifestyle is present. The way this happens is a person has a painful feeling arise. The next thing that arises after this painful feeling is the I don't like it mind craving. After this, the thinking, opinions, and concepts arise. And this is the internal verbalization about why I don't like this clinging. Then the old habitual tendency of always trying to think the feeling away arises. This is how people cause so much pain and suffering to themselves. The more the person tries to control the feeling with thoughts, the bigger and more intense the feeling becomes until that person seeks some form of relief by taking drugs or alcohol. What is a person supposed to do with that kind of situation? It is actually rather simple. Recognize that the situation is taking place. Release the thoughts about how one doesn't like this feeling. Relax the tightness present in our tightness caused by this distraction. Re-smile and bring up a wholesome mind. Return to this smile often. Repeat this process as often as mind's attention is distracted by it. That's it. Use these 6 steps, 6 hours in English. Notice the tight mental fist wrapped around that painful feeling. This is aversion, or I don't like it, or I don't want this feeling to be there, it's mine. Now, the question ask yourself is, did I ask this painful feeling to arise? Did I say it to myself? I haven't had a painful feeling for a while. Why don't I bring up? Yes. Chaya, do you want, Chaya madam, do you want to explain?
Hello.
Yes.
Sachin ji, first you go ahead. I will share. I will surely share. Continue. Then
Okay.
continue. Yes, thank you.
Here just I would like to explain that in uh, everything that arises, Bhante Vimalaramsi is explaining that everything that arises is because we take uh, actually when we walk on this eightfold path, we will understand the importance of this impersonal process of dependent origination in everything that arises. It means whatever thing which happening, if we walk on the path, we will take the things arising as an impersonal process. And having a right livelihood or harmonious lifestyle in the sense, one is having an uplifted mind, with a smiling, joy, laugh, and basically free from unwholesome and having a wholesome things. Wholesome things are the smile, joyful, and laugh. And in next thing, what Bante is trying to explain is, and the tightness caused because of the like mind, let us say some distraction has arisen, and your mind gets distracted or gets tightened or heaviness. This is the cause of suffering, because we take something, we take when we take something as personal, then the mind gets tightened, and this is the cause of suffering, because we take this as personal in the sense I am that. This is the thing, this is the cause of suffering. This is the wrong lifestyle which Bante is saying, having a personal perspective. This is the reason for many people to having a suffering. And many times, when someone like Bante is having giving one example, wherein someone does a meditation in a retreat, and meditation gets too serious. Like you may be knowing that the one-pointed concentration meditation will make one very serious and heaviness in the mind, and this is also a cause of suffering. And whenever we know what to do, we have known, and it is because of this is happening because we think this has a personal self, and we get distracted by many things like opinions, concepts, thoughts, and because of this unharmonious lifestyle, we get distracted, and distraction in many ways, like Bante is saying, as opinions, concepts, thoughts, even daydreaming. This dissatisfaction is present. Because of this dissatisfaction or distraction, the painful feeling arises. And next thing, when painful arises, is we do not like this painful feeling. I don't like this painful feeling. And after this thinking, after again, our thinking mind starts, and the internal verbalization that I don't like it minds starts, and we get clinging to it, that our mind is getting distracted, and this causes many people so much pain and suffering. And the more one person tries to control the feeling with the thoughts, then the more and intense the feeling becomes, and the more the suffering is for him. And for ordinary person, like here they are given example that someone takes and medicines or drugs or alcohol is some of the relief in general for normal people. Like for meditator, like we are practicing 6 hours. Our technique is whenever we encounter those situations, those kind of situation, we have a tool called 6 hours. 6 hours recognize that recognize recognize that the situation is taking place and release the thoughts about how one doesn't like this feeling and relax the tightness present caused by the distraction and re-smile and bring up an wholesome mind. Return to the smile often and repeat this process as often as mind's attention is distracted. Whenever we get distracted, that's all. We need to use the 6 hours, 6 steps in 6 hours, we call. And notice that whenever we get distracted, we have a tight mental fist about it. Therefore, we need to apply 6 hours whenever in a 6 hours important step is having a relaxed step and coming back to a smile. And you can notice that we did not ask the painful feeling to come. We didn't say that painful feeling come. And this is the conversation which we having. And I ask Paul sir, do you want to read?
No, I'd rather not. Sorry.
Okay, fine. Gopinath sir, do you want to read? Gopinath sir, do you want to read?
Uh, Sachin, just give me a minute. I'll collect my specs and I don't
Fine,
mind
fine,
reading. Give me a minute.
fine, fine. I will give 1 minute. No
Yeah.
worries.
Okay. Yes.
No worries. You have
Find it very.
Hello.
yes, Chaya madam.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Am I
You
audible?
can start reading. Yes, you're audible.
Yes. Okay. You have to start from of course, right? Of
Yes.
course. Of course. No one is going to purposefully cause themselves pain or suffering, right? This painful feeling arose by itself. It is an impersonal process that is occurring. What do we do with what arises in the present moment dictates what will happen in the future. This is karma. So the meditator has a choice. Either try and think the feeling away, as people always do, and this causes more and more suffering. This is an old habitual way, bhava, of handling the situation. Or the meditator can try a different way of handling this. When meditators use the 6 hour, they will come to see that this painful feeling is actually a concept made up of lot of little parts that when they come together make up the idea of pain. For example, if asked to show someone an automobile, what will you say to them? Is the windshield an automobile? Is the bumper an automobile? Is the steering wheel an automobile? Are the wheels an automobile? Is the motor an automobile? An automobile is a concept that is made up of a lot of different parts. Pain is also a concept made up of lot of different parts, and those parts are called dependent origination. There is in this instance a painful feeling, Vedana, arising, and right after that, craving, Tanha, arises. The I like it, I don't like it mind. Then clinging, Upadana, arises. The thoughts, opinions, concepts, or stories about why one likes or dislikes this feeling. Then habitual tendency, Bhava, arises. The old way of seeing and reacting to these thoughts and feelings. Then birth of action, Jati, arises. Then sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair, Jaramarana, arises. And this is what the Buddha called the whole mass of suffering. By using the 6 R's, the meditator will eventually let go of all suffering. A human being is basically made up of 5 things called aggregates. They are body, rupa, feeling, vedana, perception, sanna, formation or thought, sankhara, and consciousness, vinna. Body here basically means the physical body running from top of the head down to the toes. Feeling is pleasant, painful, or neither pleasant nor painful, not the same as emotion. Perception is the part of mind that names things and it has memory also along with it. Formations are all of our thoughts, opinions, concepts, and the strong belief in a personal self. Consciousness is awareness of the 4 other aggregates. Practical
So
application. Okay.
now, now I would like to uh, now I would like to request you to explain about these things which you have read.
Okay. So, can we just go ahead?
Yes, you can take some time.
Yeah. Yes. So, just so I will talk about when we are talking of habitual tendencies, or right now this is more about practical ways
Actually,
of
the topic which we are reading is harmonious lifestyle. In this
harmonious lifestyle.
context, Bante is explaining in different ways.
Okay,
Like he
sorry,
has got the topic of this, like first sentence being like no one wants to be a pain or suffering.
correct.
Yes, in this way you
Mm,
can explain.
yes. So, the feeling arises because it is an impersonal process that is occurring. So, it is important for us to identify that whenever a feeling arises, it is impersonal. It is we have to practice the 6R and release our attachments to the feeling that's happening. So here, whenever there's an unpleasant feeling that one encounters, a meditator has 2 choices. Either the meditator takes the feeling as painful and he goes through the process of uh, unpleasant feelings and then habitual thoughts of I don't like it, and again uh, the same habitual tendencies of handling the feeling, reacting in an unwholesome way. But on the other hand, when we talk of harmonious practices, if we are able to use the 6R, and whenever an unpleasant experience happens to us, if we are mindful about the our state of mind, that we are in an unwholesome state because we have encountered something which is not in harmony with us. Then, the moment we identify it and we use the 6R, it's harmonious practice, and we can release the and the that are unwholesome. So by using the 6R, we can uh, help ourselves to free ourselves from the suffering.
Yes, here I would like to add the important statement which Bante says. What we do with what arises in the present moment
Yes,
dictates what will happen in the future. It is a very good statement, like Bante even talks about it
correct,
clearly.
correct. So
Yes.
here, what I understand when in this sentence is that the in this present moment, when I feel that there is an tightness in the body, it's important to recognize. So the first step of the 6R, recognizing uh, the unwholesome or the unpleasant state. And then once we are able to recognize it mindfully, immediately we are in control and we have the choice to use the 6R and come back to our smile and an uplifted state of mind and not be in the suffering phase.
Truly,
So,
it is your statement is true, and
mm,
I would like to add further that in the present, like let us say our mind is in uplifted and happy state now, and
mm,
definitely in next moment it will be it will dictate in the future.
yes,
Yes, and you can continue explaining about the concept of concept. This is also very interesting thing which Bante Vimalaramsi explains about the English language, where English language has a concepts.
yes.
Every word
So,
is having a concept. You can explain.
so a painful feeling is actually a concept. Okay. So a concept is made up of lot of little parts that when they come together make up the idea of pain. For example, if asked to show someone an automobile, so here they have explained the concept of pain with the example of automobile. So pain that one feels is uh, is felt in different ways. For someone, pain can come in the form of anger. For someone, it can come in the pain form of sorrow. For some others, it can come in the form of loss of someone. So these are different parts of um, when all this comes together, that's the concept of pain. When a person feel when when these kind of things come together, that's when pain arises, and this is how people experience pain. So uh, that's all I can say about this.
Yes, truly. You said
Okay,
true. In the similar
okay.
way, you can explain about automobile.
Yeah, in the similar way. So it's like coming together of multiple things which make a concept. Pain is not an isolated suffering, or pain is not one isolated thing. It's like coming together of all this is what we call as pain. So more than we feeling the pain ourselves or uh, labeling the pain to us, it's more of a one has to understand that pain is not me. It's the coming together of the situation that is causing. So once we isolate ourselves from the pain, then we are able to come out of the suffering.
Yes. Here I would like to add a example of automobile where Bante explains that if you see one car has many parts in it. Let us say windshield, bumper, steering wheel, wheels. If you ask someone and show that whether windshield is an automobile, whether bumper is an automobile, they will say no. They will say it is, let us say someone I let us say I show this part windshield, and if I ask him whether this is automobile, he says no in general. Bumper, similarly steering wheel, wheels, and motor. Basically, all the English language parts, English languages are made up of concepts, basically, what Bante says.
Mm,
And similarly, pain is also a made up of lot of different parts, and those are called as dependent origination.
mm.
Yes, next one you can explain. Next, this one.
There is, in this instance, a painful feeling, Vedana arising, and right after that, craving arises. So the moment one starts feeling Vedana or painful, then the next step is, once we have a painful feeling, immediately the mind starts, there is a painful feeling and I like it or I don't like it. So, or whether there's a craving such that a happy feeling arises and we want more and more of it. So even in our sittings, this can happen, or this can happen in our daily life also. So whenever we encounter a painful feeling, we say I don't like it. And whenever there's a craving and we want more of it, when we have pleasant experiences in our sittings, we want more of it and we say I like it. So Vedana comes along with craving. And once there is craving, immediately clinging to the thought, immediately those thoughts, once the thoughts have started of I like it, I don't like it, mine, immediately there will be clinging around it. And not only one thought, there is uh, then there is series of thoughts, opinions, concepts, or stories also, which the mind starts building upon, and it keeps clinging to the same painful feeling, which is also, this is how the habitual tendency uh, develops mainly. So this is how the habitual tendency arises. It's like the old way of seeing that how there is a painful feeling and reacting in the same old way of I like it, I don't like it, mine, is what brings this entire cycle of uh, the Vedana, then the craving, clinging, and the cycle of habitual tendency. And this is how the birth of action, sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair. Meaning once this chain of thoughts keeps on, I don't like the feeling, and we are clinging to it, then there is more sorrow, pain, grief, and despair. And yes, this is what the Buddha said, the whole mass of suffering. So this is a continuous cycle which will go on and on. Now, by using the six star,
I would like to add here, Jake, in
uh,
general, like in Pali words, they
mm,
use this as continuous, like in the sense Vedana, Tanaha, Upadana, Bhava,
uh, uh,
Jati, Jara,
uh,
Marana.
uh,
I used to attend earlier Vipassana courses.
uh,
Goenka teacher used to say in recordings,
uh,
you may, if you remember, like Vedana, Tanaha, Upadana, Bhava, Jati, Jara,
uh,
Marana. That
Jaramarana.
was the
Yes,
Kali. Yes.
yes. So, and so this is what the Buddha called the whole mass of suffering. And by using the sixth hour, the meditator will eventually let go of all suffering. So, to break this whole cycle of from craving and clinging to the Jaramarana, we, by using the sixth hour, we, by what we have learned in our practice, we can eventually let go of all the suffering. And a human being is basically made of five things called aggregates. They are the body, the Vedana, the perception, formation, and consciousness. So again, when body here means the physical body running from top of the head down to the toes. Meaning here, whenever there is any kind of pain can arise in a physical body also, any kind of pain. So first we will get the feeling. First, the physical body will is the right is would be the space to identify that some kind of a feeling has occurred here, and some kind of sensation or feeling that arises at the physical body level. Then comes feeling that's pleasant, unpleasant, or uh, neither pleasant nor unpleasant emotion. After this comes the next part is the feelings, where one is able to. So whenever there are changes, or here Buddha is saying that the body is made up of five aggregates. So these are the spaces where we can. These are the five spaces. What I understand, where we can, by being mindful. These are the five spaces also where we can identify our state of, are we in an unwholesome or a wholesome state. So at the physical body level also, even with the feelings, are we at a pleasant feeling or unpleasant feeling? Then comes perception. That starts with perception is the part of the mind that names things, and it also has memory to do with. So once we identify the feeling in the body as well as feelings, we start our perceptions along with memories. We start giving labeling or opinions to the feelings that happen. And after that comes formations. Yes, perception and formations follow each other. So formations are all our thoughts and opinions, whether we are liking it or whether we are not liking the concept. And formations are all our thoughts, opinions, and concepts, and the strong belief in personal self also. The moment we have I don't like it, or it's again a very strong belief in our own personal self. So formations are very much attached, is is almost like attaching our thoughts and opinions to our own self. And consciousness is the awareness of the other four aggregates. So, yes, once we are conscious, it builds awareness of all the four aggregates.
Now, just I would like to see where it is ending. Yes. We have one page. I request Nanda Madam to read.
Yes. Feeling is one thing, and thoughts are something else, and never the two shall meet. When a meditator tries to control a feeling with thoughts, it only makes the feeling get bigger and more intense. When using the 6 R's, the meditator allows the space for the feeling to be there without getting caught by the thinking about it. The 6 R's are a tool to let the feeling be there by itself without trying to control it, no matter whether it is painful or pleasant. The 6 R's allow the space for the feeling to be there, and the meditator relaxes the tightness caused by the, the arising of the tension or distraction, then smiles and redirects the smile's attention back to a wholesome object, that is, smiling and the object of meditation. In this way, the meditator is practicing harmonious lifestyle. Why? Because the meditator is learning how this process of dependent origination actually works, and they are letting go of craving, thereby experiencing the third noble truth, the cessation of suffering. Or we can say that whenever mind has heavy emotional states in it, this is considered to be unharmonious lifestyle, that is wrong livelihood. This is a mind that is out of balance and gravitates toward unhappiness and suffering in daily activities. When one is practicing the harmonious lifestyle, that is right livelihood, it makes all meditation and life a continuous flow of happiness that leads us towards the cessation of suffering. In this way, meditation is life, life is meditation.
Good, madam. Can you explain about this on page which you have read?
Yes. Now, Bhante Vimalaramsi says, feelings are feelings and thoughts are thoughts. They're two different things. And when a meditator tries to control the feeling with thoughts, it only makes the feeling get bigger and more intense. So, what we have to do is when we use the 6 R's, the meditator allows the space for the feeling to be there without getting caught by the thinking about it. The 6 R's is a tool which helps us to let the feeling be there by itself. There is no need for us to control the feeling, no matter whether it is painful or unpleasant. So, when we practice the 6R, what we are doing is we are giving space for the feeling to be there. And when the meditator relaxes the tightness caused by the arising of the tension, distraction, we smile and we direct the mind's attention back to a wholesome object, that is by smiling. In this way, the meditator is practicing harmonious lifestyle because the meditator is learning how this process of dependent origination actually works. And the meditator is letting go of the craving. So this is, we are experiencing the third noble truth, which is the cessation of suffering. So we can say whenever our mind is heavy with emotional states in it, this is considered um, an unharmonious lifestyle, which is a wrong livelihood. This is the mind that is out of balance and therefore gravitates towards unhappiness and suffering in our daily activities. So when one practices the harmonious lifestyle, that is right livelihood, it makes all meditation and life a continuous flow of happiness that leads us towards cessation of suffering. So our teacher Bhante Vimalaramsi says, in this way, meditation is life and life is meditation.
Thank you, madam, for sharing this. It was very good. We have covered the harmonious lifestyle in last 54 minutes. We have covered with participation from Nanda madam, Chaya madam, and all our participants, Paul sir, Gopinath sir. Do you want to share anything?
I think this number 5, which is right livelihood, is very, very practical to me, to my daily meditation, um, after reading this, I have a much more in-depth understanding of actually what is happening when I meditate, and the importance of not taking my feelings and sensations personally, and releasing those tightness and tension uh, which accumulates that I can feel in my body. I am um, able to relax. And when that happens, um, I'm actually reducing the craving and clinging, and creating happiness, feeling happiness. Um, uh, I was kind of a quite uh, taken back about how these painful feelings, suffering feelings, when people try to control them, that is where sadly some people get addicted to alcohol and drugs. Um, we are so lucky because of Venerable Vimalaramsi has given us the 6R. When we feel unhappy, we simply have to have a tool to use the 6R to let that um, painful feeling go away. Um, I really like when Venerable Vimalaramsi says, um, did I ask this painful feeling to arise? Did I say to myself, I haven't had a painful feeling for a while. Why don't I bring it up? I thought that's
Truly.
really great.
Yes,
Um,
truly, it is great. But because we did not say painful feeling to arise, it's great.
yes. And
Mm.
as you pointed out, Sachin, that what arises in the present moment dictates what will happen in the future.
Yes.
So, the more we smile and relax and be happy, our future will be taken care of. There's no need for alcohol and drugs and smoking, and that's
Truly,
madness.
truly, it is a very good thing.
Yes,
Actually,
and
when you started the saying, just before that, I thought in my mind that I would repeat those words. Our you are then suddenly you have said those words. It's really like a synchronizing mind. I feel it was in my mind to repeat those words. You have repeated it. Great. It was in just last 1 minute back. Synchronicity of mind. Great. Sometimes it happens like uh, when I converse with someone, I have in my mind what is going to I wanted to say. Then the opposite person would say that yes, I would like. I am also thinking the similar way. He used to say it happens. It's a even other teachers say with loving kindness practice. It happens. It was nice. Anyone want to share? Otherwise, we will share the merits. We'll read all along. Chaya Madam, Paul Sir, Gopinath Sir also can join reading all along. May
may
suffering ones
suffering
be
ones be
suffering
suffering
free,
free,
and the
and
fears
the fear
trapped
strife
fearless
fearless
be.
be.
May the
May the
grieving
grieving
shed
shed
all
all
grief,
grief,
and may
and
all
may all
beings
beings
find relief.
find relief.
May all
May all
beings
beings
share
share
this
this
merit
merit
that we
that
have
we
thus
have thus
acquired
acquired,
for the acquisition of
acquisition of
all kinds
all
of
kinds of
happiness.
happiness.
May beings
Beings
inhabiting
inhabiting
space and
space
earth,
and earth,
devas and
devas and
nagas of
nagas
mighty
of
power,
mighty power,
share this merit
share
of
this
ours.
merit of ours.
May they long
May they
protect
long
the
protect
Buddha's
the Buddha's
dispensation.
dispensation.
Sadhu,
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 sadhu.
sadhu.
Thanking you everyone for joining.